Every single day, like every single day of your life, your body is under attack. Not in a way you can see, not in a way you can actually feel, like not in a way you can feel until something goes wrong. But right now, as you're sitting watching this, bacteria are trying to enter your body, viruses are looking for a way in, parasites, fungi, toxins, things that your body was never designed to welcome. And most of the time, you do not get sick. Most of the time, your body handles all of that silently, efficiently, without any help from that is your immune. There are the other times, the times when the defense fails, when you catch every cold that comes around, when malaria keeps coming back again and again, when a small wound takes too long to heal, when you are always tired, always coming down with something, always struggling to recover, when your body seems to be fighting itself instead of fighting what is trying to harm you. Okay, so sorry for the short break. Um, okay, so like I said, you never know the battle has happened, and that is your immune system working. But then there are the other times, the times when the defense fails, when you catch every cold that comes around, when malaria keeps coming back again and again, when a small wound takes too long to heal, and when you're always tired, always coming down with something, always struggling to, recover, just like I said earlier. And so that is why today we are going to talk about the most remarkable defense system in the known universe, which is your immune system. Now, we are going to talk about what it actually is and how it actually works in simple, clear language. And we are going to talk about the things that weaken it, which some of which will genuinely surprise you, and we are also going to talk about what actually strengthens it, not the marketing claims, not the expensive supplements, not the things someone in a WhatsApp group told you. Like, I'm talking about the things that science has actually shown, to make a real difference. And because your immune system is protecting your life every single day, and most people know almost nothing about it. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday, everyone, and I am so glad you choose to be here today. I want you to drop a hello in the comments right now. Tell me where you're watching from, and I want to start with a very honest question. Would you say your immune system is strong right now? Please. And also, do you get sick often? Do you take a long time to recover? I want you to type strong, average, or weak in the comments, and I want to see where we're starting from today. My name is Loretta Invisible, and this is the Safe Delivery Project. We are the Do Take Action family, and every Thursday at 3 p.m., we show up here and have conversations that actually change how people understand their own health. And so today we're going deep inside your body. So let us go. Okay, now we're going to be talking about the immune system and how does it work. Now, I'm going to start from the very beginning because I want to make sure every single person watching understands exactly what the immune system is before we talk about anything else. Your immune system is not one thing. It is not one organ or one chemical or one cell. It is a whole network, a whole army made up of different types of cells, different organs, different proteins, and different chemical signals all working together into one goal to protect your body from the things that could harm it. Now, I want you to think of your body as a country. A country needs a defense system to protect it from threats that come from outside and from disorder, that happens inside, right? Now, your immune system is that defense system. And just like a well organized military, it has different units with different jobs. Let, let me walk you through how it is organized. Okay, the first layer is called the innate immune system. No, this is your immediate general defense, and it is the part that responds first when something harmful tries to enter the body. It does not need to recognize a specific threat. It just knows that whatever has entered is foreign and does not belong. The innate immune system responds within minutes to hours, and it is your skin, which is a physical barrier that stops most things from entering in the first place. It is the mucus in your nose and throat that traps bacteria and viruses before they can go deeper. It is the tiny hairs in your airways that sweep those trapped particles back out. And it's also, it is the acid in your stomach that kills most pathogens that are swallowed with food. And it is the first wave of immune cells that arrive at the site of an infection, destroying invaders immediately and raising the alarm for the rest of the system. The redness, the swelling, the warmth, and the pain you feel around an infected wound, that is the innate immune system at work. That is inflammation, and inflammation in the right context at the right time is not a bad thing. It is a sign that your body is responding correctly to a threat. The second layer is called the adaptive immune system. This one is more sophisticated. It is slower to respond, taking days rather than minutes, but it is far more powerful than and far more targeted. The adaptive immune system lens, it studies the specific threat that has entered the body. It creates weapons called antibodies that are designed specifically to fight that particular threat. And then it remembers. So after the infection is cleared, the adaptive immune system keeps a memory of what it saw, so that if the same threat comes back again, the response is faster and more powerful. So you are immune. Now, this is the principle behind vaccination. A vaccine introduces a harmless version of fragments of a pathogen into the body. Now, the adaptive immune system studies it, it creates antibodies against it, and remembers it. So when the real pathogen comes, if it ever does ever does the body is already prepared, it can respond immediately and powerfully before you ever become seriously ill. So the cells that do most of this work are called white blood cells. There are several types. We have the neutrophils, which are the first responders that arrive at infection sites and engulf and destroy bacteria. We have the macrophages, which are the large cells that swallow and destroy pathogen and also clean up the debris after a battle. And then we also have the natural killer cells. It seek out and destroy cells that have been infected by viruses or that have become cancerous. And we also have the B cells, which produces the antibodies, that neutralizes a specific threat, and also the T cells, which coordinates the overall response and directly attack infected cells. So all of these cells are produced in the bone marrow, the spleen, the lymph nodes, and the um, and the thymus, are organs that support the immune system. So they are well immune cells mature and they gather and communicate with each other. And when you feel swollen lymph nodes in your neck or armpits when you are sick, that is your immune system actively working. So those nodes are where immune cells are gathering and multiplying to fight what is happening. So the key fact is that your immune system produces approximately 100 billion new immune cells every single day, and it is one of the most active and energy demanding systems in the human body. It never stops working, never takes a day off, and never stops learning from every new threat it encounters. So I'm going to be asking my audience, before today, did you know your immune system had two separate layers? The innate immediate response and the adaptive learned response. Please type yes if you knew this, or no if this is a brand new information for you. So next we are going to talk about the things that weaken the immune system, because this is where I think a lot of people are going to recognize, things in their own lives, and recognizing them is the first step to changing them. We have post sleep. Post sleep is the one that I always start with, because it is the most underestimated immune suppressor there is, and almost no one takes it seriously enough. When you sleep, your immune system goes to work in a very specific way. During this deep sleep, your body produces and releases cytokines. Now, cytokines are small proteins that are essential for fighting infection and inflammation. They are the chemical messengers that the immune system uses to coordinate in responses. Some cytokines need to increase when you are fighting an infection or under stress, and your body produces them most effectively during sleep. So when you do not sleep enough, or when the quality of your sleep is poor, production drops. The number of infection fighting antibodies and cells your body produces is reduced. The immune response is significantly impaired. So studies have shown that people who sleep less than 6 hours a night are 4 times more likely to catch a cold when exposed to a cold virus, compared to people who sleep 7 hours or more. 4 times more likely from just 1 hour less of sleep. And so when people are kept awake or extended period and then given a vaccine, their antibody response to the vaccine is significantly lower than in people who slept normally. And so their immune system literally cannot respond as effectively to the same stimulus because it has not had the recovery time it needs. And here in Nigeria, where working late is badge of honor, where sleep is this naming as such. So please always have time to sleep. Now, next, we're going to talk about the chronic stress. Stress is the second most powerful immune suppressor, and just like sleep deprivation, it is something that most Nigerians are carrying in very large amounts. When you are stressed, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. In short bursts, cortisol is actually helpful. It reduces inflammation temporarily and Okay, so sorry. I was having network problem. So sorry about that. Okay, so um, like I was saying earlier, I was talking about poor nutrition. You know, your immune cells are made of nutrients, just like I said, and every component of the immune system, every antibody, every cytokine, every white blood cell is built from what you eat. And if the raw materials are not there, the immune system cannot build or maintain its defense properly. And so the nutrients most critical for immune function include vitamin C. Like I said, it supports the production and function of white blood cells and acts as an antioxidant protecting immune cells from damage. We also have vitamin D. It plays a critical role in activating immune defense without adequate vitamin D. You know, immune systems cannot respond properly to infection, and also we have zinc which is essential for the development and function of immune cells and for the body's inflammatory response. We also have iron. Iron deficiency anemia reduces the production and effectiveness of immune cells significantly. And then protein, because antibodies and immune cells are proteins. So without adequate dietary protein, the immune system cannot maintain its numbers of function. And many Nigeria are deficient in one or more of these nutrients. Vitamin D deficiency is common despite the abundant sunshine, because most people open the majority of their time indoors. And also you see iron deficiency is extremely widespread, particularly in women and children, and diets are very heavy in carbohydrates with limited proteins. Vegetables and device nutrition leaves the immune system under-resourced. And next, we'll be talking about physical inactivity. Regular moderate exercise is one of the most powerful immune boosters there is, and the opposite is also true. The physical inactivity weakens immune function over time. Exercise increases the circulation of immune cells throughout the body, meaning they can detect and respond to threat faster. It reduces chronic inflammation, it improves sleep quality, it reduces stress hormones, and it supports the the lymphatic system. So the network of vessels that carries immune cells throughout the body, because unlike the blood which is pumped by the heart, the lymphatic system depends on physical movement and muscle contraction to flow. So people who are sedentary, who sit for most of the day and get very little physical activity, have less effective immune surveillance. Their bodies are slower to detect and respond to early threats. We also have smoking and heavy alcoholic consumption. Smoking, it damages the physical barriers in the airways, the mucus and the tiny hairs that trap and sweep out pathogens. It, it reduces the function of immune cells in the lungs, and it causes chronic inflammation that diverts immune resources away from infection fighting. Smokers get respiratory infections more frequently and more severely than non-smokers, and they recover more slowly. So heavy alcoholic consumption also suppresses immune function across the board. It reduces white blood cell production. It damages the gut lining, which is an important part of the immune defense, and it disrupts sleeps, nutrition, and stress responses, weakening multiple pillars of immune health simultaneously. We also have dehydration. The immune system depends on adequate hydration to function. The lymphatic system, which carries immune cells, needs adequate flow to flow properly. Mucous membranes, the first line of physical defense in the nose, throat, and airways, need hydration to maintain their protective function. And many immune processes including the production and transport of antibiotics, antibodies require water. So mild chronic dehydration, which is very common in Nigeria, given the heat and the inadequate water intake of many people, subtly but consistently impairs immune function, and it is not dramatic, but over time it adds up. We also have age. The age, I'm talking about AGE, age. The immune system naturally changes with age. In young children, the immune system is still maturing and learning, which is why young children get sick frequently, particularly when they first start mixing with other children. Frequent illnesses of early childhood are actually the adaptive immune system, building its library of traits and learning from each one. In older adults generally, from the mid-60s onward, the immune system begins to slow down. It produces fewer new immune cells, it responds less quickly, and vaccines become less effective. So recovering from infection also takes longer. This is called Immunosoreness sense, and it is one of the reasons older people are more vulnerable to serious illness from infections that younger people handle without difficulty. We also have certain medications and medical conditions. Some medications specifically suppress the immune system either as a deliberate therapeutic goal, as in people who have had organ transplant or who have autoimmune disease, or as a side effect. So corticosteroids, the chemotherapy drugs, and some disease modifying medications all reduce immune function. So certain medical conditions also impair immunity, most notably HIV, which specifically attacks and destroys the T cells that coordinate the immune response. Uncontrolled diabetes impairs the function of white blood cells. Kidney disease affects the production of immune cells, and severe malnutrition profoundly suppresses immune function. So the fact is that research published in the journal Sleep found that people who slept 6 hours or less per night were 4.2 times more likely to develop a cold compared to those who slept more than 7 hours. The immune system uses sleep the same way a factory uses the night shifts to do the repair and production work that cannot happen during busy daytime operations. And of course, to my audience, I just talked about poor sleep, stress, poor nutrition, inactivity, smoking, alcohol, dehydration. So, which one of you think is the biggest weakness in your own immune system right now? Just drop it in the comments, one word or phrase. Okay, so next, before we get into what strengthens the immune system, I want to spend some time on something that affects millions of people and is almost never properly explained, and that is autoimmune disease. We have been talking about the immune system as a defender, something that protects the body from outside threats. But sometimes the immune system makes a mistake. Instead of attacking things that do not belong in the body, it starts attacking things that do. It turns on the body's own tissues and organs. And when that happens, the result is an autoimmune disease. Let me use a simple analogy. Okay, imagine your body's security system suddenly cannot tell the difference between a criminal and a resident. It starts arresting innocent people, right? Damaging healthy tissue. So that is the same as damaging healthy tissue while trying to fight a threat that is not really there. So that is what happens in the autoimmune disease. There are over 80 recognized autoimmune disease, and they affect different organs and systems depending on which tissues our immune system is mistakenly attacking. We have the rheumatoid arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease where the immune system attacks the joints, causing inflammation, pain, stiffness, and over time destruction of the joint structure. It is different from the normal wear and tear arteries of aging. We also have lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease where the immune system attacks multiple organ systems. the skin, the joints, the kidneys, the heart, the brain. We talk about the bodily rash of lupus A1 skin section, if you could remember, for those that have been following. So lupus affects women far more than men and is more common in people of African descent. Now, type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease also, and you know is an immune system that destroys the cells in the pancreas that produces insulin. This is different from type 2 diabetes, which is related to lifestyle and insulin resistance. We also have the thyroid and autoimmune disease, including the Hashimoto's thyroiditis and Graves' disease. And they are where the immune system attacks the thyroid gland, causing it to produce too little or too much thyroid hormone. Also, sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease where the immune system attacks the protective coating around the nerve fibers in the brain and spinal cord, disrupting nerve signals and causing progressive neurological symptoms. Inflammatory bowel disease, including the Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, involves the immune system attacking the gut lining, causing chronic inflammation, pain, diarrhea, and bleeding. Now, what causes the autoimmune disease? This is a question researchers are still working to fully answer, but the current understanding involves a combination of genetic predisposition. Certain genes make a person more likely to develop autoimmune disease, and environmental triggers that may switch these genes on. So triggers that have been studied include certain viral and bacterial infections, severe stress, hormonal changes, certain medications, and environmental exposures. So autoimmune diseases are significantly more common in women than in men. Researchers believe hormones play a role. Estrogen, in particular, appears to influence immune function in ways that increases susceptibility to autoimmune conditions. Now, autoimmune disease cannot currently be cured, but most of them can be managed very effectively with the right treatment. The key is getting a proper diagnosis, which can sometimes take years because the symptoms often overlap with many other conditions. So if you have been experiencing symptoms that move around joint, combined with fatigue, rashes, combined with organ symptoms, and no one diagnosis seems to explain everything, please ask your doctor specifically whether autoimmune disease should be investigated. And the key fact is that autoimmune disease collectively affects approximately 5 to 8% of the global population. Women account for approximately 75 to 80% of all autoimmune disease cases. And the reason for this gender disparity is still being actively studied, but hormonal and genetic factors are believed to be primary contributors. So, and now I want to spend some time talking about vaccines, because vaccines are one of the most powerful immune system tools humanity has ever developed. And in the current environment where there is so much confusion and misinformation about vaccines, I think this conversation is important and necessary. I'm going to be explaining what a vaccine actually does in the body in simple terms. Now, your adaptive immune system, the learned part of your immune system, works by encountering a threat, studying it, building a defense against it, and then remembering it. So, the first time you encounter a new pathogen, the adaptive immune system needs time, days to weeks, to mount its full response. And during that time, you may get very sick, but after the infection clears, the memory remains. And if the same pathogen comes back, the response is immediate and powerful. So you may not even notice the infection because it is defeated so quickly. A vaccine works by giving your immune system the study material without the danger. So a vaccine introduces into the body something that looks like a specific pathogen or looks like part of one but cannot cause the disease. It might be a weakened or killed version of the pathogen. It might it might be just a fragment of the pathogen's outer surface. It might be instructions as in the mRNA vaccine, like some of the COVID vaccines, that teach your cells to produce that fragment temporarily so the immune system can study it. And the immune system sees this material, recognizes it as foreign, mounts a response, builds antibodies against it, and stores the memory. No serious illness, but full immunological protection. And then when the real pathogen comes, if it ever does, the immune system already knows exactly what it is and exactly how to fight it. The response is immediate, and in many cases, the infection is cleared before you even feel unwell. So, vaccines have been responsible for some of the greatest achievements in public health history. Smallpox was completely eradicated from the planet through vaccination. It no longer exists anywhere. Polio has also been eliminated from most of the world. Measles, which used to kill hundreds of thousands of children every year, is now preventable. Um, we also have meningitis vaccines have also dramatically reduced rate of a disease that kills and um, and disables children within hours of the first symptom. HPV vaccines are reducing cervical cancer rates in countries where they have been widely implemented. So in Nigeria specifically, the childhood immunization program provides protection, against tuberculosis, polio, diphtheria, tetanus, whooping cough, hepatitis B, um, uh, we also have pneumococcal disease, rotavirus, measles, and yellow fever, among others. So these vaccines are free, they are available through primary health centers, and they are one of the most impactful things a parent can do for a child health and survival. So for adult vaccines that are relevant include the hepatitis B vaccine if you have never been vaccinated or do not know your status. The yellow fever vaccine, which is actually required for travel in many cases. The meningitis vaccine, particularly for people who will be traveling for Hajj. And the COVID vaccine, which remains relevant for protection against severe disease. Fear and mistrust around vaccines in some Nigerian communities. Some of it comes from misinformation, spread on social media. Some of it comes from cultural and religious concerns. And I am not going to dismiss any of that because the history is real. The concern is understandable, but I want to say clearly vaccines are among the most studied medical interventions in history. They go through extensive testing before they are approved. The monitoring continues after approval, and the scale of benefits to the millions of children alive today who would not be free this, who would not be if these vaccines did not exist is not a matter of opinion, it is a documented fact. So standing with science as we talk about on what as we talked about during the World Health Day means following the evidence even when it requires trust. And on vaccines, the evidence is overwhelmingly consistent. And the key fact is that the World Health Organization estimates that vaccines prevent between 3.5 and 5 million deaths every year globally. In the first 2 decades of the 21st century, measles vaccines alone estimated to have prevented over 21 million deaths. So vaccines are one of the most cost-effective public health investments that exists. Okay, now we get to the part I think many of you have been waiting for, what actually makes the immune system stronger, not what the supplement industry wants you to believe. not what circulates in WhatsApp groups, what science actually shows. And I want to start with something important. There's no magic pill, no single food, no supplements, no drink that will boost your immune system overnight. The immune system is not a simple machine with a single dial you can turn up. No, it is a complex network, and what supports it is a combination of consistent habits maintained over time. First, sleep. You need to sleep first. I'm going to say this again because it is genuinely the most important immune support there is. Adequate quality sleep, 7 to 9 hours for most adults, consistently, not as a luxury, as a health practice. During sleep, your body produces the cytokines that coordinate immune response. It repairs damaged tissues, it consolidates immune memory, it resets the stress hormones that suppress immunity. No supplements, no superfood, no expensive products can replicate what sleep does for your immune system. And it is free. Protect your sleep, set a consistent bedtime, keep your phone away from the bed, make your sleep environment as dark and quiet as possible, and treat sleep as a health investment rather than dead time. Next is also manage stress actively. Manage stress actively because chronic stress is one of the most powerful immune suppressors. Managing stress is one of the most powerful immune support, and I mean managing it actively, not just pushing through, not just praying and hoping it reduces, but deliberately doing things that activate your parasympathetic nervous system and reduce cortisol. So physical movement reduces cortisol. Even a 20 minutes walk significantly reduces stress hormone levels and improve immune function. Social connection reduces cortisol time with people who genuinely support you. Conversations that go below the surface, relationships where you feel truly known. Prayer and spiritual practice for those who have faith, genuine spiritual engagement, has been shown in research to reduce um, psychological stress makers, and deliberate rest time when you are not producing, not managing, not performing, but simply being. So these are not luxurious, these are immune interventions. And also eat for your immune system. That is the next time. Eat for your immune system. The specific nutrients that support immune functions are found in real world foods. Let me name them practically in the Nigeria context. We have vitamin C, which is found in tomatoes, oranges, peppers, both fresh pepper and the dried pepper used in cooking, guava, and leafy vegetables. So eating this regularly support the production and function of white blood cells. Vitamin D. Vitamin D comes primarily from sunlight exposure to 20 minutes of sun on the skin daily, ideally in the morning rather than in the harsh midday sun. It is also found in fatty fish like mackerel and sardines, egg yolks and liver. So if you spend most of your time indoors, consider asking your doctor to check your vitamin D level and discuss supplementation if it is low. We also have zinc. Zinc is found in meat, particularly red meat and chicken, shellfish, beans and lentils, pumpkin seeds, and nuts. So zinc is essential for the development of immune cells and for the body's initial response to infection. We also have protein, which is in eggs, fish, chicken, red meat, beans, groundnuts, and dairy products. So your immune cells and antibodies are made of protein. Without adequate protein intake, the immune system cannot maintain its numbers or rebuild after fighting an infection. We also have iron. Iron is in liver, red meat, dark leafy vegetables like ugu and water leaf, beans and eggs. Iron deficiency is one of the most common nutritional causes of immune suppression in Nigeria, particularly in women and children. So eating a diverse diet, meaning different types of food at different meals, rather than the same stable food day after day. Ensure you are getting a range of vitamins, minerals, and and antioxidants that collectively support immune function. And also move your body. Moderate regular exercise is one of the most consistent immune supporters in the research literature. It increases the circulation of immune cells, which reduces chronic inflammation. You know, um, like I said, every training, no, and sorry, like I said, the keyword is moderate. Very intense exercise like marathon running or extremely heavy training can actually temporarily suppress immunity immediately after the exercise section. But regular moderate exercise by walking briskly, cycling, swimming, dancing, playing with your children consistently improve immune function over time. Now, also 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week is the target. So you do not need a gym, you do not need equipment, you need movement, consistent, regular, sustainable movement. And next, stay hydrated. Water is the medium in which all immune processes happen. The lymphatic system that carries immune cells through the body depends on adequate hydration. Mucous membranes that physically trap pathogens need moisture to work effectively. So immune cells produce and communicate through chemical signals that require water as a carrier. Drink water consistently throughout the day, not just when you are thirsty, no. But because by the time you feel thirsty, you're already mildly dehydrated. Your urine should be pale yellow to clear. If it is dark yellow, drink more water. Maintain a healthy gut. This one surprises most people in your gut. The gut lining contains enormous numbers of immune cells. The trillions of bacteria that live in your gut's microbiome play a critical role in training and regulating the immune system. A healthy device gut microbiome supports immune function. A disrupted gut, microbiome weakens it. So what supports a healthy gut microbiome? Eating fiber-rich foods like vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains, which feed the beneficial bacteria. Eating fermented foods where they are available and culturally comfortable yogurt. Fermented locust beans is some foods. Fermented cassava products. Avoiding unnecessary antibiotics. Every course of antibiotics disrupt the gut microbiome significantly, and it takes time to recover. And reducing ultra processed foods, which have been shown to harm the diversity and health of gut bacteria. And next, do not smoke and moderate alcohol. Do not smoke and moderate alcohol. If you smoke, stopping is one of the most impactful things you can do for your immune system. The damage smoking does to respiratory immunity is significant, and stopping allows the immune system to begin recovery relatively quickly. So if you drink alcohol, moderation means your immune system can function normally. Every regular drinking suppresses immune function across multiple pathways. Now, what about supplements? Yes, what about supplements? I want to address this directly because there is an enormous market for immune boosting supplements, and most of it is not supported by strong evidence. Vitamin C supplements are widely used. The evidence suggests that for most people who are already eating an adequate diet, high dose vitamin C supplements do not significantly reduce the chance of getting a cold. However, for people who are deficient in vitamin C or who are under significant physical stress, supplementation can help. Also, we also have vitamin D supplements which are genuinely useful for people who are deficient. And given how much time most Nigerians spend indoors, vitamin D deficiency is actually quite common. So getting your vitamin D level checked and supplementing if it is low is a reasonable and evidence-based step. Most other immune boosting supplements, the proprietary blend, the herbal product, the specialties and powders marketed for immunity, are very limited scientific evidence behind them. Some may be harmless, some may not be. And spending money on expensive supplements while neglecting sleep, stress management, diet, and exercise is addressing the very small part of the picture while missing the large part. So the most powerful immune support program available does not come in a bottle. It comes from the daily habits that allow your immune system to do what it was designed to do. So I want to spend um so the key fact is that a study from the University of California found that people who exercise moderately for 45 minutes 5 days a week had significantly fewer sick days over a 12-week period compared to sedentary people. Exercise is one of the most accessible and most effective immune support tools available, and it costs nothing. Now, I want to spend a few minutes specifically on children because I know many parents are watching today, and the immune health of children is something that comes up consistently in Nigeria households. Children, children get sick more often than adults. You know, this is normal and it is not a sign that something is wrong with your child. It is a sign that your child's adaptive immune system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So, encountering threats, learning from them, and building its library of immunity. So, when a child starts attending a school or daycare, they suddenly go from a relatively protected environment to one where they are in contact with many other children carrying many different viruses and bacteria. It is very common for children in their first year of school to have frequent respiratory infections. 6 to 8 colds in a year is within the normal range for a young child. This is not an immune weakness, this is immune education. However, there are genuine signs that a child's immune system may need attention. So infections that are much more severe than expected for a child their age. Infections that do not clear properly and keep coming back in the same place. Infections with unusual organisms that healthy children do not normally get sick from. An infection that requires hospitalization or IV antibiotics repeatedly. These are signs that warrant investigation for an underlying immune problem. So for most children, though the support they need is the same as for adults, adequate sleep, children need more sleep than adults. Young children need 10 to 14 hours, school age children need 9 to 11 hours, teenage um teenagers need 8 to 10 hours, and many Nigerian children are not getting this because of late bedtimes, noise in the environment, and screen use at night. Good nutrition, including adequate protein, iron, zinc, and vitamin C. This is critically important for children because their immune systems are still developing, and nutritional deficiencies during childhood have long-term effects on immune function. So, completing the childhood immunization schedule, we talked about this in the vaccine section. The childhood vaccines offered for free through the Nigeria Immunization Program protect against some of the most dangerous infections children face. Please make sure your child immunization is up to date. Breastfeeding where possible. Breast milk contains antibodies to the mother's immune memory that are passed directly to the baby and provide protection while the baby's own immune system is still developing. This was one of the most powerful immune gifts a mother can give a newborn in the early months of life. And reducing unnecessary antibiotic use in children. This is something I feel strongly about. Antibiotics kill bacteria. They do not affect viruses. But most childhood respiratory infection, colds, most coughs, and most sore throats are caused by viruses and will not respond to antibiotics at all. So giving antibiotics for viral infection does nothing to help the illness, but does significantly disrupts the gut microbiome and contributes to the development of antibiotic resistant bacteria. Please resist the pressure to demand antibiotics for every child illness. Ask the doctor specifically, is it bacterial or viral? If it is viral, antibiotics are not the answer. And the World Health Organization also estimate that resistance is one of the greatest threats to global health, and a significant driver of antibiotic resistance is the inappropriate use of antibiotics for viral infection, including in children. So every unnecessary antibiotic cost contributes to this global problem. So we have been here for an hour, and I want to say something before I let you go. Your immune system is working right now, and as you sit and listen to this, as you breathe, as your heart beats, somewhere in your body right now, a white blood cell is patrolling. An antibody is neutralizing something that tries to enter through your nose or your mouth or even your skin. A natural killer cell is checking the cells around it to make sure none of them have become cancerous. It is working without your permission, without your direction, without any instruction from you. It is doing its job, and and all it asks from you all it needs to do that job well is the basics. Sleep enough, manage the stress, eat real food with real nutrients, move your body, drink enough water, take care of your gut, vaccinate yourself and your children, avoid the things that weakens it. These are not complicated requests. They are not expensive. They do not require a supplement or a special program or a 30-day challenge. No, they require daily decisions, consistent, repeated, unglamorous daily decisions. Because the immune system is not built in a day; it is built in years, and in accumulation of nights of good sleep, in the years of eating food that gives the body what it needs, in the decades of moderate movement, in the lifetime of managing stress in ways that allow the nervous system to recover. Every good decision you make today is an investment in an immune system that will protect you tomorrow, next year, and in the years to come. You only get one immune system, so take care of it and it will take care of you. Please like this video if today gave you something important. Leave a comment telling me the one change you are making this week to support your immune system. Subscribe so you never miss a Thursday, and please share this because somewhere in your contact is a person who is always sick, always tired, always struggling to recover, and they deserve to understand why and what to do about it. Your share might be the reason they finally get the answer. I will see you next Thursday. Take care of yourself and please sleep tonight. Your immune system needs it.